Picture this. You're taking a shower, and suddenly you realize you're standing in an inch of murky, cooling water. Yeah, you know that quiet, simmering rage of a slow bathtub drain? It honestly feels like a personal attack by your plumbing. But what if I told you this isn't just some random, everyday annoyance? It's actually a high-stakes structural battle happening right beneath your feet. And more importantly, it's a battle we can completely win. Today, in this explainer, we're breaking down the exact science and the ultimate strategy behind defeating the bathtub clog once and for all. Okay, let's dive into this. We've literally all been there. First, it drains just kind of slowly. Then a week later, it's pooling around your ankles. And finally, boom, it just completely stops. The result always looks like this mysterious, gross sludge. But according to our source material today, the causes are incredibly consistent. Your drain isn't just failing randomly. It's failing in the exact same way, building the exact same type of barrier every single time. And because it's so predictable, our method for destroying it can be too. So here is our battle plan for today. First, we've got the anatomy of a clog. Second, the 5-step fix. Third, preventing future clogs. And finally, when to call a pro. Let's get right into it. Section 1. Anatomy of a clog. Meet the enemy. Right, so before we can effectively defeat the enemy, we kind of need to know what we're looking at. We tend to think of clogs as just random globs of dirt, but they actually have a very specific physical and chemical makeup lurking right down there in your pipes. And it all starts with hair. Hair is the main culprit here. But it doesn't just block the pipe by taking up space, it acts as the initial structural foundation. As water flows, those loose strands of hair tangle together and form a surprisingly resilient net. This net stretches across the pipe and starts catching literally every single piece of tiny debris that washes down. It's the insidious starting point of the whole process. But you know, hair alone isn't the whole story. The real problem starts when you introduce soap scum. Now, soap scum isn't just slippery, harmless residue. Down in the dark environment of your drain, it mixes with the natural minerals in your water and transforms into a powerful binding agent. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how it works. It effectively takes that fluffy, loose net of hair and coats it, turning it into a thicker, harder, almost cement-like layer. Together, this highly durable combo of the hairnet and the soap scum cement systematically narrows the pipe. Even if it seems like only a partial blockage to you right now, this structure severely slows down drainage over time. Understanding this is absolutely crucial. When you know why this highly durable mass forms, you suddenly realize why just pouring a pot of boiling water down there doesn't really do anything. Knowing the anatomy of this enemy is exactly what's going to save you money and stop some seriously expensive plumbing disasters down the line. Section 2. The 5-step fix, your escalating arsenal. Okay, now that we know what we're up against, it is time to fight back. We're going to treat this fix like a tactical escalation. We don't need to bring out the heavy artillery on day one. Step 1 is your most basic yet arguably most effective line of defense, mostly because the clog is surprisingly close to the surface. It's often right near the drain opening or just inside that very first bend of the pipe. Because the clog is usually right there at the top, simple mechanical removal is your best bet. Throw on some rubber gloves, grab a dedicated drain hair tool, or honestly, just fashion a hook out of a bent wire coat hanger. Reach down and pull out whatever visible hair you can grab. And yeah, you're gonna have to face the gross hair monster, but by doing this, you're physically removing that structural net before the problem has a chance to sink any deeper into your plumbing. Now, if you've cleared the top and you're still dealing with a tub that's draining slowly, meaning it's not completely backed up yet, we escalate to step 2. Step 2 is the trusty classic plunger. But listen, it requires proper technique. You need to create a really good, tight seal right over the drain. Once you have that seal, plunge firmly for several continuous cycles. Our source explicitly warns against those rapid, shallow, frantic plunges. You know the ones. That doesn't do anything helpful at all. The goal here is to build intense, sustained pressure to literally force that stubborn obstruction down and out. If the plunger fails to conquer the beast, it means the blockage is deeper and that soap scum cement is holding strong. So, we step it up to step 3. Now, what's really interesting about this process is the mechanics of the drain snake, or small hand auger. You don't just aggressively jam it down the pipe. Instead, you push it gently until you feel some resistance, and then you turn the tool. Turning it allows the metal coils to physically catch, twist, and pull up that matted hair while breaking apart the soap-slimed residue. You are literally ripping the clog structure apart from the inside out. Moving on to step 4, this represents a major strategic shift. We're moving away from brute force mechanical removal and transitioning into biological maintenance. Enter enzyme-based cleaners. It's really vital to understand, but enzymes are a long-term play here. They work gradually by literally digesting the organic material, eating away at the hair and the scum. So they are highly effective, but definitely not an instant fix for a fully blocked line. Instead, think of them as your best friend for routine maintenance. They break down light buildup over time, keeping the pipes clear long before they ever have a chance to back up. And finally, we reach step 5. And I need to be completely clear on this one. Step 5 must be treated as the absolute last resort in our escalating arsenal. The guidance here is use targeted, low-risk chemical cleaning only when necessary. That is a direct directive from our source. If you absolutely must turn to harsh chemical cleaners, you have to read and follow the label directions precisely. And more importantly, never ever mix different chemical products together. Seriously, you could create a dangerous, toxic reaction right there in your own bathroom. Not worth it. So the crucial point is this fundamental comparison. Mechanical removal, so using your hooks, your plungers, and your augers, is predictable and significantly safer for the structural integrity of your pipes. Chemical cleaning, on the other hand, is inherently risky, potentially damaging, and should genuinely only be deployed when all physical methods have entirely failed. Section 3. Preventing future clogs. Defense shields. Okay, awesome, we've cleared the drain. The battle is won, but the war is ongoing. The simple truth is that small, routine, proactive habits will easily outperform massive panic-induced cleanups every time. Here is your 5-point defense shield. 1. Buy and strictly use a drain strainer. It stops the hairnet before it even enters the pipe. 2. Quickly wipe or rinse that strainer out after every single shower. Don't just let it sit there. 3. Run periodic hot water rinses to melt and limit the initial soap scum buildup. 4. Use that enzyme cleaner we talked about on a strict monthly schedule. And 5. Don't forget to periodically clean the overflow and drain cover areas, because that is exactly where gross residue loves to hide and accumulate. Execute these 5 steps and you take all the fuel away from the enemy. Section 4. When to call a pro. Reinforcements. Let's be realistic for a second. Sometimes, despite our absolute best efforts, the enemy is just too deeply entrenched for a DIY approach. If you've diligently tried the mechanical tools, the plunging, the snaking, and drainage is still poor, you need to recognize when you're simply outmatched. The clog is likely sitting significantly farther down the main sewer line, well beyond the reach of any hand tools. Or it could be heavily influenced by the layout of older plumbing, which is notorious for hiding complex blockages that require serious expertise. Here is exactly what happens when the professionals arrive. They don't just guess and blindly poke at your pipes. Step 1, they deploy high-tech video inspection cameras directly into the plumbing. Step 2, this allows them to visually confirm the exact location and makeup of the clog. And step 3, they execute the precise clearing method required for that specific blockage. It entirely eliminates the costly trial and error process, ensuring a targeted, swift, and complete victory. We've covered the anatomy, the fix, the prevention, and the pros. But I really want to leave you with this somewhat provocative thought as we wrap up today's explainer. What is currently building the structure of a clog in your pipes right now? Think about that the next time you step into the shower. By understanding the combination of hair and soap scum, and by using the right, escalating mechanical tools, you have the ultimate power to keep your drains flowing. Thanks for joining me today. Stay focused and go clear those drains.